This is how you treat your cash cow? This is how you treat your savior? This is how you treat the young woman responsible for elevating this unbelievably rancid turd?
Caitlin Clark was forthright. She blew up in the locker room during a season that was falling apart. In person with Stephanie White, the coach. Full-fledged altercation, slamming doors, and screaming. Sue Bird and Tina Charles are giggling on a podcast about her being physically assaulted while Clark is fighting on the court. Basketball is not what this is. This is sabotage. Let's dissect it. It was more than simply a door that slammed. A declaration was made. Clark, Caitlin, had had enough. Enough poor coaching. Ignorance is enough. It was enough that she stood in the corner like a decoy while her own teammates took up the attack. As the game progressed, tensions began to rise. In front of the crew, Clark illuminated Stephanie White. Insiders claim that she stated exactly what supporters have been yelling all season. Howard and Mitchell are on the bench. They fail. That isn't diva conduct. That's what leadership is. She was blunt in her statement. Tunnel vision is a trait of Kelsey Mitchell. She dribbles the ball as though she's allergic to help. Howard, Natasha. She disregards all fundamental spacing guidelines and slashes into space like it's 1999. Caitlin is getting frozen out, dictating pace, and setting up plays in the meanwhile. Being invisible was not the reason Clark was sent to Indiana. They put her in charge. What else are you to do when your coach continues taking away your playing time and creating plays that don't even feature your greatest player? Nod and smile. Clark snatched. In all honesty, it's time.
There is definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the third situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. And it looked like Caitlin Clark definitely had a situation take place where she had a heated exchange with two assistant coaches on the staff.
There is more than one game here. This applies to every quarter, every game, and every timeout. Stephanie White is without a plan. Or worse, she has a terrible one. She has a clumsy offense. She rotates in a crazy manner. She embarrassed herself by using Clark. The top player in women's basketball is not drafted. Put her in the spotlight, then put her in a difficult situation. That isn't a plan. That is sabotage. White's strategy is based on the antiquated share-the-ball theory, which views all players as equals. This isn't a camp for kids. It's professional basketball. Furthermore, Clark is more than just a player. You have a playmaker that spans generations, and you're running plays through Howard and Mitchell. Please. Giving a Ferrari to someone who demands to drive in the right lane at 30 mph is equivalent to that. Clark is benched, pulled, and blamed the instant she expresses herself. A budding dynasty has been transformed into a dysfunctional locker room circus by the fever. And the person being marginalized is the only one who has the ability to truly fix it. If Stephanie White is defending this offense, it's time for her to do so from the comfort of her couch, because this isn't it. Let's revisit the point at which everyone ought to have seen that Stephanie White was never Clark's ideal coach. White went viral last season when he claimed that the Dallas Mavericks looked better without Luka Doncic. Yes, the man who led the league in scoring and led them to a Western Conference Finals, Luka. White commended the fluidity, the space, and the ball movement. All because Luka didn't always have the ball in his hands. That assessment was not only incorrect, but also concerning. It demonstrated how White considers superstar skill to be an annoyance. She is currently treating Caitlin Clark in the same manner. Clark should take Luka's place. Put Indiana in instead of Dallas. It's the same stale reasoning. Without our best player, we perform better. In actuality, it would be like ordering a 5-star chef to take a break so the interns may spend more time in the kitchen. This isn't a casual game. This is the WNBA. By acting as though your best player doesn't exist, you can't win titles. Star coaching is not what Stephanie White wants to accomplish. She desires to be in charge of them. Clark will not allow it to occur. Let's get right to the point and expose this transgression. It's trash. No rhythm, timing, or spacing. In preparation for working his magic, Clark moves the ball up the floor. Natasha Howard then appears, cutting straight into her lane, as if she were the only choice. What are we doing? After that, Kelsey Mitchell gets the ball, and it seems as though there is no shot clock. Repeat, dribble, dribble, disputed brick. Stephanie White also views it as poetic. Clark, on the other side, is out there establishing the pace, throwing passes that her teammates aren't even aware are coming, and surveying the court. However, if no one cuts, yells, or finishes, it's all for nothing. There is no system here. There is a malfunction. Clark did not become a WNBA ghost after becoming a college sensation. She remains herself. The distinction is that her coach has an allergy to passing the ball to her, not to mention the movement of the ball. If it results in shot clock violations and mid-range bricks, it isn't movement. This is devastation rather than progress. Additionally, fans are witnessing it live. Let's be honest. Not only is Clark playing worse, but she is also being made to play worse. Since her first breakthrough, her usage rate has decreased by more than 20%. She doesn't touch. Her shots are down. She provides flat helps. Nevertheless, she continues to score more than 17 points and dish out 8 assists every game. Consider the appearance of those figures if she were indeed handed the keys to the crime. Consider the consequences of ceasing to run Mitchell as your first choice and quit requesting that Clark set screens as if she were a role player. Clark is surviving, not struggling. She is under pressure in every play she makes. Miss screens, no spacing, and double teams. And bang, she misses a shot. Stephanie White pulls her using it as an excuse. Mitchell, meanwhile, logs 35 minutes despite going 2 for 13. Stats are not relevant here. Suppression is the issue. Clark doesn't require additional time to adapt. She needs the coach to adapt. Instead of defending the league's future, as one might expect, WNBA legends are making fun of her. During a podcast, Sue Bird and Tina Charles made fun of Caitlin Clark for being shoved, hit, fouled, and more. They were entertained rather than repulsed. Tina went so far as to act out the hit. Sue simply chuckled. There is no remark here. Clown conduct, that is. These are mature women acting like bullies in high school while seated in front of microphones. Clark's protection is already a problem for the WNBA. It is now being exacerbated by its mythologies. The worst part is still to come. Team USA's managing director is Sue Bird. She thus has a say in who is selected for the Olympic team. Do you believe she is assigning Clark to that squad? Not after this. She's too preoccupied with laughing at her wounds.